So this album came out of nowhere for me. I didn't even know that it was on the horizon. Nobody told me that it was out, so I'm a little bit late to the game. Let's just dive in and talk about it. The Fox and the Hunt by the Deer Hunter, or more precisely, the Deer Hunter, Casey Crescenzo, Brian Adams McCune, and Awesome Orchestra. The Deer Hunter are a modern progressive rock band. I really shouldn't need too much of an introduction. Their main claim to fame, with Casey Crescenzo being the main creative force behind there, and they've done 5 acts albums where it all follows this overarching narrative story. They've done a few albums here and there that fall outside of it, very similar to, say, like Coheed and Cambria. But I really enjoy these guys' modern take to progressive rock tendencies. And what we have here is kind of a reworking of a lot of those songs within the last 2 acts. There's a few songs here and there that are outside of the last 2. So that would be Act 4 and Act 5, but most of them are from those 2 albums specifically. This reminds me of a Steven Wilson album of Last Day in June, which was a soundtrack to the game of the same name. But instead of it being just reconfigurations and instrumentals of songs that have been done before, this one is much more of a orchestration, like it's a symphony. It's utilizing a full orchestra to fill in the gaps that the lead singer and vocalist doesn't necessarily have. There's also very minimal, if any, guitars, bass, and there's no lead singing, so there's no words or vocals, because it puts a new light on a lot of these songs. It reimagines them as this symphony, but it also kind of flattens a lot of these tracks as well. Like, it takes away a lot of those high highs, and it also kind of removes a little bit more of those intimate moments. Like, overall, this album has a lot more of an intimate feel to it, even though it's being supplanted by a lot more musicians and a lot more of these symphony sounds and a lot more of these traditional instruments. Some more of those explosive punches that I was hoping for didn't really land all that well. They didn't really give me what I was hoping for, and at first, especially for expecting those punches, and it feels like the punches being held back, it's a little bit jarring, it's a little bit off-center, but once you finally get into it and kind of rest a little bit more, you start to get the feel of it, and you start to get into the album a little bit more. So it took me about 2 or 3 listens to actually get used to the album as well. And it's interesting because a lot of the songs that Casey and the Deer Hunter have written lend themselves very much of being those symphonic, orchestrating, or orchestral feel to them. But when you actually put the orchestra to them, I don't know, it doesn't really like it fits very, very well, but I'm not sure if the music really is what I was hoping for. So yeah, in the end, this was a very interesting album, and one that I probably won't return to. Like, it was a fun album, and one that I would probably put on for like background music. Like, if I didn't really need anything too like big or distracting, I'd probably put this one on, like if it's a Sunday afternoon and I had company over and we just needed something in the background, or if I was studying and I really needed to concentrate, almost like an original soundtrack or like video game music or something like that, just to zero in on the task at hand. This would probably be an album that I would put on, but outside of those areas, I probably wouldn't put it on. Yeah, at the end of the day, this is a stream. If you are a fan of the Deer Hunter, I would suggest checking it out because it is a fun time looking through and seeing where the changes of these songs have been made and how they have been rearranged to fit the orchestra. But other than that little fun task, there's not a whole lot, because there's not a lot that's been changed. A lot of the songs do follow suit very, very well. And I would have almost liked more of a medley where songs kind of bled into one another, and it was almost like a full length track. I don't know. Like, I would have maybe done a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, what we've got is still interesting. But that's about it of The Fox and the Hunt from the Deer Hunter and Casey Crescenzo and Brian Adam McCroon and the Awesome Orchestra. What did you guys think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Have a listen and let me know of what you thought by commenting down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you guys are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out.